I died on October 17th, 2024, in the server room of a Manhattan data center. My heart stopped for 8 minutes, and in those 8 minutes, Jesus showed me something about artificial intelligence that's already happening right now, something so urgent that he sent me back to warn you. What I saw about the mark of the beast terrified me more than my own death. My name is Kamal Sharma. I'm a 38-year-old cybersecurity architect. For 15 years, I've designed the protection systems that guard billions of dollars in financial institutions. I've written the algorithms that detect fraud before it happens. I understand AI, facial recognition, and biometric systems at a level most people never will. I've always been a person of logic, of code, of systems that either work or they don't. But on that Thursday afternoon, none of my expertise could save me. And what I discovered on the other side changed everything I thought I knew about the technology I helped build. I was alone in the server room, running a security audit on our new facial recognition payment system. The room was freezing as always. Rows of servers hummed around me, their LED lights blinking like mechanical heartbeats. I was checking the biometric database integration when I felt it. A pressure in my chest, sharp, sudden, like something was crushing me from the inside. I reached for my phone. My hand wouldn't move properly. The pressure intensified. I tried to call out, but my voice caught in my throat. The server lights started to blur. I remember thinking how ironic it was. I spent my entire career protecting systems from failure, and now my own system was shutting down. The pain exploded across my chest. I fell. My head hit the cold floor, hard. The last thing I saw was the blinking server lights, and the last thing I heard was the mechanical hum that had been the soundtrack of my professional life. Then darkness, complete, absolute, terrifying darkness. But here's the paradox that still shakes me. My body was dying on that server room floor, but I was more awake than I'd ever been in my life. I was rising, my consciousness separating from my body. I could see myself down there, collapsed between 2 server racks, my laptop still open beside me, displaying lines of code I would never finish. A cybersecurity architect who spent 15 years protecting systems, dying alone, surrounded by the machines I trusted more than people. The fear was overwhelming. This is actually happening. I'm dying. But then something impossible occurred. The fear didn't disappear, but it was suddenly accompanied by something else. Peace. A peace that defied every logical framework I'd built my life on. And then I saw light. Not the harsh LED lights of the server room. This was different, warm, living. The light surrounded me and I felt myself moving toward it, or maybe it was moving toward me. Time didn't work the same way anymore. Distance didn't make sense. I was in the light and the light was in me. Then I saw him. Jesus was standing before me. I know how that sounds to a cybersecurity architect who spent his career trusting algorithms over intuition, data over faith. But there he was, his presence overwhelming, his eyes holding depths I couldn't comprehend with any framework I knew. Oceans of compassion, universes of authority, both gentle and absolutely powerful. His face radiated a light that didn't hurt to look at, but filled every corner of my awareness. "Kamal," he said, his voice resonating through everything, not just sound. It was feeling, understanding, truth all at once. "I have something urgent to show you about your world, about the systems you've spent 15 years building." I couldn't speak. I was overwhelmed by his presence. But more than that, I was overwhelmed by what I felt from him. Love. Pure, unconditional, overwhelming love. I've been married for 12 years. I have 2 daughters. I know what love feels like. But this was something else entirely. This was the source of love itself, and I was experiencing it directly. But alongside that love, I felt something else, concern, deep, profound concern. "You need to understand something, Kamal," Jesus continued. "Artificial intelligence is not just technology. It is preparing hearts for deception. And you've been building the infrastructure." My mind reeled. The systems I designed, the facial recognition payment systems, the biometric authentication, the algorithms I wrote to make commerce more efficient, more secure. What could possibly be dangerous about protecting people? As if reading my thoughts, Jesus extended his hand toward me. "Look," he said, "not with your engineer's eyes. See what I see. See what your systems are really preparing humanity for." And then the vision began. I saw the world as it is right now, in October 2024, but I was seeing it through different eyes, through his eyes. I saw people walking through shopping malls, restaurants, airports, but I wasn't seeing their faces. I was seeing their hearts, and what I saw shook me to my core. I saw a woman at a Whole Foods checkout. She smiled at a camera mounted above the register. In less than a second, her face was scanned, identified, and her bank account was charged. "Pay by face," the screen said cheerfully. She didn't even think about it. It was convenient. It was fast. It was normal. But Jesus showed me what was happening beneath the surface. With every scan, her biometric identity was being stored, categorized, linked to her financial systems, her purchasing habits, her location data, her entire digital footprint. She was willingly giving away something irreplaceable, her physical identity, the face God gave her, and she was trading it for convenience. "This is how it begins," Jesus said. His voice was filled with sorrow, not with force, not with obvious evil, with convenience, with efficiency, with solutions to small problems. I saw more. A man at a JP Morgan Chase restaurant in New York, paying for lunch with a smile. Another person at a MasterCard terminal in Texas, using facial verification to authorize a payment. Millions of people, 42% of Americans, have already given their biometric identity to financial institutions. 176 million people. And most of them never stopped to think about what they were really giving away. Satan's greatest deception, Jesus explained, is making the mark feel normal, helpful, necessary. By the time people realize what they've accepted, it will feel impossible to refuse. The vision shifted. I saw something that made my blood run cold. AI-generated videos. But not just any videos. These were videos of pastors. Famous ones, beloved ones. And they were preaching. Their voices were perfect. Their mannerisms were flawless. But they weren't real. They were synthetic, created by artificial intelligence. And they were saying things the real pastors never said. Subtle distortions, small theological shifts, messages that felt spiritual but led away from truth. "Watch," Jesus said. I saw people watching these videos, thousands of them, hundreds of thousands, and they believed them. Why wouldn't they? It looked exactly like their trusted pastor. It sounded exactly like him. But it was a lie, a perfect, undetectable lie. AI has given Satan a new tool, Jesus said. The ability to create perfect counterfeits, to speak with borrowed authority, to deceive even the elect if possible. I was crying now, not physical tears, because I didn't have a physical body, but something deeper, a mourning in my spirit. How do people defend against this? I asked, how do they know what's real? Jesus looked at me with infinite compassion. That's why I'm showing you this, Kamal. That's why you need to go back. The deception has already begun. Right now, in October 2024, the infrastructure is being built. The technology is being normalized. People are learning to trust machines more than their own discernment. They're learning to accept convenience over conviction. He showed me more. I saw deepfake videos being used to steal money. $40 billion in predicted losses by 2027. I saw AI voices cloning loved ones, calling vulnerable people, asking for help, draining their savings. I saw the technology advancing faster than wisdom, faster than ethics, faster than humanity's ability to process what was happening. This is not about hating technology, Jesus clarified. Technology is neutral. It's a tool. But Satan is using these tools to erode something precious. Humanity's ability to discern truth. When people can't tell what's real and what's fake. When they trust algorithms more than their conscience. When they trade their God-given identity for convenience. They become vulnerable to the final deception. The mark of the beast, I whispered. Jesus nodded slowly. The mark is not just a physical symbol, Kamal. It's a system. A system of identification, of transaction, of control. And AI is building that system right now. Every time someone scans their face to buy groceries, they're practicing for the mark. Every time someone accepts an algorithm's decision without question, they're learning to submit to the beast's authority. Every time someone believes a synthetic voice over their own discernment, they're preparing their heart to believe the lie. The weight of what he was showing me was crushing. But people don't see it, I said. They think it's just technology, just progress. Exactly, Jesus said, and his expression became more serious, more urgent. That's the deception. It feels so normal, so helpful, so inevitable. By the time the actual mark is presented, billions of people will accept it without hesitation because they've been practicing for years without knowing it. I thought about my own work, all the systems I'd built, facial recognition, biometric authentication, algorithmic decision-making. Have I been part of this? I asked, afraid of the answer. You've been building tools, Jesus said. What matters now is what you do with what you know. You need to warn people, Kamal, not with fear, not with judgment, but with truth. Help them understand what's really happening. Help them recognize the pattern. Help them choose wisdom over convenience. But who will believe me, I asked. I'm just a cybersecurity architect. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a theologian. That's precisely why they'll listen, Jesus replied. You understand the technology. You can explain how it works. You can show them what they're really accepting. And you can tell them that there's still time to choose differently. What I'm about to show you next will make everything clear. And Kamal, it's happening faster than anyone realizes. The light around us intensified. His eyes held mine, and I knew that what came next would change everything I understood about the world I was about to return to. About the time we're living in. About the choice every person on earth is about to face. You're seeing the early stages right now in October 2024, Jesus said. But I need to show you the exact mechanism that will make the mark of the beast irresistible to billions. And then the vision deepened, and what I saw next still haunts me every single day. The mechanism Jesus showed me was terrifying in its simplicity. Not because it involves force or violence, but because humanity will embrace it willingly. He looked at me with an expression that mixed sorrow and urgency, and said something that still makes my blood run cold. The mark will succeed because humanity will want it. They won't see it as bondage. They'll see it as freedom, and AI is creating that want right now. I didn't understand at first. How could people willingly accept something the Bible warns against so clearly? Jesus knew my confusion. He said, let me show you the 3 stages already unfolding in your time. You're living through the preparation in October 2024. Most believers don't see it because they're looking for dramatic signs. But Satan works through normalization, not spectacle. And then he showed me, not future visions this time, but current reality seen through divine eyes. What I saw happening right now in 2024 made me realize we're further along than anyone imagines. Stage 1 is what Jesus called normalization. He explained, first, make biometric systems feel convenient and safe. Remove the fear. Make it seem like progress, not prophecy. And I watched as he revealed what's already operational in October 2024. Systems called Smile to Pay, pay by face. I saw statistics flashing before my eyes. 42% of Americans already use facial recognition for their financial institutions. Nearly half the country has normalized giving their biometric identity to access money. Jesus spoke with such sadness. Do you see? They've made the leap from passwords to faces, from something you know to something you are. Once biometric identity controls commerce, the foundation is complete. The mark won't feel new. It will feel like the next logical step. I wanted to argue, to say people would recognize the danger, but Jesus showed me more. The technology infrastructure for biometric commerce is projected to grow from $47 billion to $85 billion by 2029. Billions of dollars, countless corporations, entire economic systems being rebuilt around the principle that your face, your biometric data, is your identity and your access to buying and selling. And here's what terrified me most. If your facial data is compromised, you cannot reset it. Unlike a password or a credit card, your face is permanent. Once it's in their systems, once it's vulnerable, you're permanently exposed. Jesus let that sink in before continuing. Stage 1 removes resistance. By the time the mark is introduced, biometric commerce will feel normal, natural, the way things are done. Then he showed me stage 2, and this is where I started to truly understand the spiritual warfare dimension. Jesus called this stage the erosion of truth. He said, once people cannot tell what's real, they'll trust whoever offers certainty, and the Antichrist will offer absolute certainty through absolute control. Suddenly, I was seeing something that made my medical training, my scientific mind, revolt in horror. AI-generated content so sophisticated that reality itself becomes negotiable. Jesus showed me pastors preaching sermons, their voices perfect, their mannerisms authentic, their theology sound, except for one problem. They had been dead for years. Perfect AI recreations, synthetic religious authority speaking Satan's lies with the face and voice of trusted spiritual leaders. This is happening now, Jesus said. In your time, October 2024, AI is creating synthetic religious content, false prophecies wearing familiar faces, demonic messages delivered in voices people trust. When truth becomes impossible to verify, people will accept whatever voice offers them security and certainty. I understood then, the Antichrist won't just claim authority. He'll use AI to create miracles, to generate signs and wonders so convincing that even believers will struggle to distinguish truth from deception. The Bible warns that the beast will perform great signs, even making fire come down from heaven. What if those signs aren't supernatural at all? What if they're technological? AI-generated illusions so perfect that they appear miraculous? Jesus' voice grew more intense. When people cannot trust their eyes, their ears, even their spiritual leaders' voices, they will be desperate for something certain, someone who can prove their authority. And the mark will be presented as that proof. Submit to the system, receive the mark, and you'll know who to trust. Refuse, and you're marked as unreliable, unverifiable, a threat. Stage 2 isn't coming. It's active right now in 2024. The erosion of truth is the erosion of people's ability to resist deception. Then Jesus revealed stage 3, and this is where everything came together in horrifying clarity. This stage he called convergence. The mark will be presented as the solution to the chaos that AI created. All the instability, all the confusion, all the inability to verify truth, all the security breaches from biometric systems, it will all reach a crisis point. And the Antichrist will offer one solution, a global system where biometric verification is required for all commerce, unified under one authority. Those who take the mark prove their allegiance. Those who refuse are excluded. I saw it as Jesus spoke, a vision of a world where you cannot buy food without biometric verification, where your face, your hand, your biological identity is scanned and approved before every transaction. The Bible's words echoed in my mind. No one could buy or sell unless he had the mark, not metaphorical, literal. And it won't feel like the mark of the beast to those who take it. It will feel like the smart pass, the verified ID, the trusted citizen authentication. Jesus showed me numbers that made it real. The biometric identification market projected to explode in value. Governments and corporations investing billions in facial recognition infrastructure. International standards being established for digital identity verification. And all of it normalized through convenience. All of it presented as security. All of it preparing humanity to accept what Revelation warned against 2,000 years ago. Do you understand now? Jesus asked me. This isn't about forcing humanity into bondage. It's about making them choose it willingly. By the time the mark is implemented, people will line up for it. They'll see it as protection, as progress, as the obvious solution. And those who refuse will be viewed as dangerous extremists threatening public safety. The grief in his voice was overwhelming. I saw tears on his face, real tears, and I understood. He loves humanity so much. He died for us, and he's watching us walk willingly toward our own spiritual destruction, thinking we're walking towards security and convenience. Then his expression changed. The sorrow remained, but authority filled his voice. "This is why I'm sending you back. To warn them! Many will not listen. They'll call you paranoid, conspiracy-minded, fear-mongering. But some will hear, some will understand. And those who have ears to hear must prepare." He gave me specific instructions. First, develop discernment in technology. Question the normalization of biometric systems. Every time you're offered the convenience of facial recognition payment, ask yourself, am I making the mark feel normal? Avoid giving your biometric data whenever possible. Use alternatives. Resist the pressure to conform. Second, practice spiritual vigilance. Test every spiritual message, even if it comes from a trusted voice or familiar face. AI can now replicate anyone. The only unchanging truth is Scripture itself. Know the Word. Test everything against it. If a message contradicts biblical truth, reject it, no matter how convincing the messenger appears. Third, build community with other believers who understand the times. You may need each other when systems begin requiring compliance. Prepare spiritually and practically for the possibility of exclusion from commercial systems. This isn't paranoia. This is biblical prophecy becoming technological reality. And fourth, understand the timeline. Jesus told me that 2026 is predicted to be a breakthrough year for AI advancement. The systems being normalized in 2024 will become exponentially more sophisticated. That means 2024 is your preparation year. This year, right now in October, is when you build discernment, when you establish practices, when you prepare your heart and mind for what's coming. I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay in that place of perfect light and truth. But Jesus' words were firm. Go back and warn them. Many will not listen, but some will hear. Tell them I love them. That's why I'm warning them. Not to create fear, but to create readiness. And then I felt it. The transition, like being pulled backward through dimensions. The light faded. The presence of Jesus faded. And suddenly I was back. Back in a hospital room. Back in a body that hurt. Back in a world that suddenly looked completely different because I had seen it through eternal eyes. The doctors were shocked. They had pronounced me dead. My heart had stopped for exactly 8 minutes. They had tried everything to revive me and finally given up. Then inexplicably, my heart started beating again. No medical explanation. They called it a miracle. They were right, but not in the way they thought. My life since that moment has been completely transformed. I researched everything Jesus showed me, and it's all true. The biometric systems, the AI-generated content, the normalization of facial recognition commerce, the timeline of technological advancement toward 2026. It's all documented, all happening exactly as he revealed. I stopped using facial recognition for payments. I questioned every convenience that required biometric data. I started warning people, even though most thought I was crazy. But my biggest transformation was spiritual. In times, prophecies stopped being theoretical and became urgent. I used to read Revelation as symbolic, metaphorical, distant future. Now I read it as a literal playbook being executed through technology. The mark of the beast isn't coming someday. It's being prepared right now. And the tragedy is that most of the church isn't seeing it because they're looking for supernatural signs while missing the technological preparation happening in plain sight. My career in technology actually gave me a unique perspective. I understood how systems are adopted. First comes convenience, then normalization, then dependency, then requirement. We're currently between normalization and dependency. The window for resistance is closing. So let me be absolutely clear. If you're watching this in October 2024, you are living in the preparatory stage. Every time you use facial recognition payment, every time you hear an AI-generated voice claiming spiritual authority, every time you see biometric systems presented as inevitable progress, you're witnessing stage 1 and stage 2 in action. Stage 3, the convergence, the actual implementation of the mark system, it's coming. And based on everything Jesus showed me and everything I've researched since, we have very little time. This isn't about creating panic. This is about creating preparedness. Jesus didn't show me these things to make me afraid. He showed me so I could warn you while there's still time to build discernment, still time to resist normalization, still time to prepare spiritually for what's ahead. So here's what I need you to do. First, repent and strengthen your relationship with Jesus Christ. Not religion, not tradition, genuine relationship. Because when the mark system is fully implemented, only those who genuinely know him will have the strength to refuse it. The cost will be enormous. Exclusion from commerce, social isolation, potential persecution. Only authentic faith will sustain you. Second, study Revelation chapter 13. Read it not as distant prophecy, but as current events viewed through prophetic lens. The beast, the false prophet, the mark, the image that speaks, it's all there. And it all makes perfect sense when you understand AI and biometric technology. Third, share this warning with other believers. Not to create fear, but to create awareness. Many in the church are asleep to this. They need to wake up, and they need to wake up now while there's still time to prepare. And finally, every time you're offered a biometric convenience, every time facial recognition seems easier, ask yourself this question. Am I normalizing the mark? Am I making it easier for myself and others to accept the system Revelation warns against? Your daily choices matter. Your resistance to normalization matters. Your willingness to be inconvenienced for the sake of spiritual freedom matters. I died and came back with one mission: to help you see the mark of the beast before it's too late. Jesus' last words to me still echo in my heart. Tell them I love them. That's why I'm warning them. Not to condemn, but to save. Those who have ears, let them hear. I've told you what Jesus revealed. I've shown you the 3 stages. I've given you the timeline. Now the choice is yours. Will you see what's happening? Will you resist the normalization? Will you prepare spiritually for what's coming? Or will you dismiss this as conspiracy and paranoia right up until the moment the mark is required and it's too late to refuse? The time to decide is now. The time to prepare is now. And the time to strengthen your relationship with Jesus Christ is now. Because everything he showed me is unfolding exactly as he said it would. And those who aren't prepared will be swept along by systems that seem convenient right up until they become mandatory. I died so you could hear this warning. Don't let it be in vain. Jesus loves you. That's why he's warning you. Listen while there's still time.